Welcome back to the live stream, and today we are going to go ahead and drive 3 cars that you can get in other parts in the world, but not the United States. Starting with the Cupra Formentor VZ5. I think it's called VZ5. Yes, VZ5 from 2021. So Cupra is owned by Volkswagen, and Cupra is the performance division of Seat. I don't know how to say that name, but it's a Spanish car company. And what's cool about this car is that it has a 5-cylinder Audi engine. And so, listen to this. It's fast, but it also looks pretty sick. Now, Cupra should be coming to the United States at some point, but I think that this car really needs to be here in the United States. It needs to be selling here in the United States. First of all, because crossovers are huge in the States right now. Crossovers are huge pretty much everywhere. Like, everybody's buying crossovers, and I think this would probably compete against cars like maybe, I don't want to say X5M, but like cars like BMWs. This is not on the same performance level of X5M. Maybe like an MDX Type S. This has that type of performance level. MDX Type S. But it's just so cool. It would be like this Spanish equivalent to an Audi, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it kind of does feel a little bit Audi-ish here. I think there are some parts that are shared in Audi models in this interior. And it feels very Volkswagen Audi. So, but that's not a bad thing because these are very nice cars. But yeah, Cupra Formentor VZ5 is just an incredible, just a really cool performance crossover. I really like it. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it looks. I think it's just so cool looking. Some people might say it's a bit much, and I think it's just so cool looking. And as a matter of fact, those exhaust tips, they kind of remind me of the Lexus ISF. No, they look like the exhaust tips from the ISF, the stacked exhaust. That's what they call them. I have no doubt that they were looking at the ISF or RCF or even GSF whenever they were designing this car, because they didn't get those exhaust tips from. They definitely did not come up with those exhaust tip designs, or with that exhaust tip design out of nowhere. They had to have taken that from Lexus. So let's go ahead and actually do a launch control with this thing. I figured out how to do a launch control in Forza Horizon 5. I just figured out that I didn't have it on. So what you want to do if you want to do launch control in this game is you want to press the e-brake and then press the gas pedal, and it won't rev past 2,000 RPM and you can't even shift. Like, you cannot shift when you're doing this. This sounds like a baby Audi R8. Like, which is kind of incredible, considering that this is a family crossover with, that's going to have Cheerios in the back seat. But yeah, really cool car. Oh, whoops. So as you can see, this car has a big central entertainment system. I know nothing about that entertainment system. All I know that it's huge, and it looks really nice. This interior is very nice and sporty. I like the overall design aesthetic of this car. It just proves that crossovers don't have to be boring. Like a lot of crossovers, except for Hyundai's, because Hyundai is just killing it when it comes to their designs, and Kia. A lot of crossovers, I just don't understand this, but they're looking so boring. Especially in the United States. Europe gets cool crossovers. And then the thing is that whenever a crossover, or whenever any car tries to look cooler, it gets criticized. Like the BMW XM. I think that's a really cool looking crossover, but it's being criticized. I get it. The grills are huge. It's really oddly proportioned, but it's like at the same time, so is the Kia Soul. So, like, and that's not being criticized. The thing is, I'm sure people who, whenever the Kia Soul first came out, it was probably very controversial, but people love those cars now. Because of how they look so different. But yeah, this car really does drive so well. The next car we're going to go ahead and drive. Oh crap. It's the Renault Megane RS. So, if you don't know, so I recently, you probably noticed, I've told you this in the previous live stream, but I recently saw a Renault Toyos in the United States, which is like so weird. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, nobody's gonna think of this crossover as something really cool. It's a normal crossover, but it's not a normal crossover at the same time in the United States, because it's not a crossover that you see every day. But anyways, let's talk about the Renault Megane RS. And also, let's just give a shout out to all these Renault Meganes that I have. I meant to sell them. I bought them with the intentions of upgrading them and selling them, but I've tried to upgrade them, and I've tried to upgrade a couple and sell a couple, and they never sold. And so, like, that's just, if I do that, I'm just gonna lose money in this game. So, yep. These are basically just sitting here. But let's go ahead and drive this one. You know what? Honestly, I might as well just delete some of these from my garage, because I don't need them. So how do I do this? Oh crap. Okay. Yeah, right. Okay. Remove car from garage. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna also go ahead and delete my Clio, my extra Clio. What is that noise I hear? Oh. Someone's walking up the steps. Okay. But for those of you who don't know about the Renault Megane, I totally understand. I didn't know about it until I played Project Cars 2. And I think it's a French hatchback. I think. I always forget what region it's from. Or what country it's from. But it's a hatchback. It's a normal little hatchback that they sell in Europe. It's popular in Europe. And they've been selling them for quite a while now. And this is the latest version of the Megane. But this is the Megane RS. So, it has around the same horsepower figure as the Veloster N, which is not being made anymore. But yeah, it's a 2018 Megane RS, and I think that they should sell them in the United States. The hot hatch market is big right now. You have cars like the Civic Type R, the Civic Type R, the Golf R. What else do we have? The Integra Type R. And we also have cars like WRX, which is not a hot hatch, but it's being compared. You can still compare it to cars like Golf R, Civic Type R, and also some hot crossovers like the Kona N, which is also not a hatchback. It's really a tall hatchback. That's all it is. They call it a crossover, but really it's a tall hatchback. And that's basically the replacement to the Veloster N. And so I think if this car was sold in the United States, it would get so much love. First of all, because it's a brand that nobody really knows about, but like except for if you're like a car enthusiast, and so that's kind of cool. And also it's kind of subtle. Like a lot of hatchbacks, like Civic Type R, they're just like obnoxious looking. Not the newer one is a little bit more tame. The old one is the more obnoxious one. The old Civic was obnoxious looking. Anyways, the old one just it just added to the obnoxiousness to the Civic. But yeah, this is kind of subtle, but it's also a lot of fun. And it sounds good too. You have nice big paddle shifters. You got a lot of cargo room in the back, and the car looks really good. But yeah, I think right now it would be a good time for Renault to sell cars in the United States. Like, crossovers are huge. They make a lot of crossovers. And I think that, it would be kind of cool to see a new car company, a new affordable car company coming out in the States. We have not had that in a while. The newest car companies that are coming out in the States are selling expensive cars, like Rivian R1T, Lucid Air. And even this new joint partnership between Sony and Honda, which I don't remember the name of that. Afeela, that's what it's called. Afeela. That's going to be a pretty expensive car. And so a lot of new cars that are coming out are they're not affordable. And Renault makes affordable cars. And this is a pretty cool car too. They also make performance cars. And they have a history of making performance cars. And also, they have a history of making cars. So that means that you don't really have to worry about a huge, a brand new startup company. You don't have to worry about, having a car from a brand new company that isn't really experienced in making cars. Because Renault's been making cars for years. And they actually did sell in the United States, though they stopped selling due to high insurance of their vehicles. And probably some other reasons too. And Peugeot also sold their cars in the United States. But yeah, I think it would be so cool seeing this car selling in the United States. I like this car a lot. And yeah, you might occasionally see them, especially if you live in California. I'm sure there's a lot in California that drive from Mexico to California, because you have a lot of cars in California that come over, that cross the border, but they're driving from Mexico. Like you got Peugeots, Volkswagens that aren't sold in the United States that come over from Mexico, like the Volkswagen Gol, not Golf, Gol. Oh, whoops. And also, like some Toyotas. So there's a Toyota pickup truck called the Hilux. You probably already know about it, but that's not sold here, but it's sold in Mexico. And Doug DeMuro actually reviewed one. So he reviewed some cars that you can't get in the United States, brand new, in the United States. But the reasoning for that is because he lives in California. And in California, they have a lot of cars that you cannot, that aren't available in the States, coming over to the States, such as the Peugeot 3008, the Toyota Hilux. He did have to go to Mexico to review that Suzuki Swift. That's not sold in the United States. No Suzuki is sold in the United States anymore. And I wouldn't be surprised if he reviewed a Renault Megane. He already reviewed a V6 Clio, but that was an older one. But it's also not old enough to be imported. It's old enough to. I'm pretty sure it was imported via show or display, which allows you to import certain vehicles to the United States, like special edition vehicles to the United States. But you can't drive it very much. Like there's a limit to the amount of miles you can drive it per year. Alright, so let's go ahead and, before we hop into another vehicle, do a little launch control. Yeah, this is a fast car. It's a front wheel drive hatchback. I think it's making 282 horsepower, something like that, around 280 horsepower. The handling is really good. It should be, because it's a hot hatchback. And this sounds really good. Now I have a modified Megane in this game, but I want to drive stock cars for this stream. I think driving stock cars for the stream would be perfect for the stream, because this is how they would be, because this is actually how they're going to be sold. So, stock. This is how they're going to be from factory if they were to be sold in the United States. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the Lotus Exige. I forgot what it's called for a second. The Lotus Exige. So we got a version of the Exige. It wasn't as cool though. It was called the Lotus Elise. So, but that also wasn't sold in the United States for the first generation. They originally didn't sell the second generation in the United States too, but I think beginning in 2005 they started selling the Elise in the United States. And so, but this version it's the same car, but different name and more performance. So it's called the Lotus Exige, and they never sold that car in the United States for whatever reason. And FYI, I have not driven this car yet. So I might have driven it in Forza Horizon 4, but not in this game. So I don't remember what it's like driving this car. So yeah, I think I did drive it in Forza Horizon 4. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh crap, crap. What on earth? That is a good sounding car. So, Toyota engine, yeah, it's the same engine from your Camry. Or, think like this, your Camry has the same engine that can be found in the Lotus Elise. But they actually did some, so Lotus, they are not a very big car company. And so they tend to outsource engines from different companies. So they actually outsourced they first outsourced the earlier model year Elise engines that weren't sold in the United States from General Motors. So what happened is General Motors would outsource their engines to Lotus if they could get their own versions. So they had which also weren't sold in the United States, but I think there was a Vauxhall version of the Lotus Elise, and some other version. I don't remember. You'll have to watch Doug DeMuro. He did a review. Doug DeMuro and Canon did a review on the Lotus Elise, and they know about what cars General Motors made, like what cars General Motors made that were based on the Lotus Elise. But yeah, Lotus got the engine, and General Motors got their own version of the car. So there are two versions of the car. But in the later model years, I want to say beginning in 2005, Lotus went to Toyota to outsource Toyota's engine and put it in their Elise. And so Lotus Elises the Lotus Elise, Exige, and the Evora all have Toyota engines, and now the Lotus Emira has a Mercedes-Benz engine for the 4-cylinder and a Toyota engine for the V6. So I would assume this engine, the V6 engine, is the same engine you get in the Camry V6, which is actually a pretty good engine. It's got 301 horsepower in the Camry V6. So really, that engine, it's got sports car numbers. Which is kind of funny. When it comes to the numbers, the Camry V6 kind of lies in between the Toyota GR86 and the Toyota Supra. and the Camry V6 is the car for everyday commuting. It's the car that kids get dropped off in school in. Yeah, it's like, 70 horsepower behind their sports car. Their GR86. Not a GR86, GR Supra. But yeah, listen to that sound. We're gonna go on the bridge. I think that's where we're headed. It sounds a lot like the Lotus. Oh crap! The Lotus 311. A lot like it. Oh, this car looks so sick. that is a monumental sound. Like, you know, people joke about how Lotus has Toyota engines in their cars, but first of all, why are you joking about a reliable? Like, first of all, aren't you kind of happy that Lotus didn't develop the engine themselves? Aren't you kind of happy about that? Because if they developed the engine themselves, wouldn't you be on the side of the road more often? I mean, think about it like this. British cars break down a lot, but Toyotas don't. And so you get the best of both worlds. You get a beautiful British car with a reliable Toyota motor. And so if I could get a Land Rover with a Toyota engine, that would be really cool, or a Lexus engine. That would be super cool, because now you're getting a Land Rover that has less problems. Now, obviously, because it's a Land Rover, it's going to have a lot of technical issues, because they don't know how to make reliable cars. But yeah, I mean, and also this car wouldn't have a lot of technical issues, I don't think, because it's just such a basic sports car. That's the beauty about it. It's a basic sports car, so there's nothing in this car that's gonna weigh it down. It just picks up and goes, and it sounds like a freaking sport bike. I love how this car sounds. It has a high pitch, high revving motor. Oh wow. And the cornering is just so good. And this car was not sold in the United States. So it's like, why do these companies reserve, like they don't bring over their best models to the United States? Porsche's guilty of doing this. They did this in the 90s. Like, yeah. And I'm pretty sure the Lotus Carlton, which is a Vauxhall sedan, was not sold in the United States because it's a Vauxhall. Vauxhall doesn't sell the cars in the United States. But that would have been cool to get in the United States too. But yeah. Like, I kind of hate it whenever companies reserve their, like, they make a cool car, but then they don't sell it to the United States. Like, they don't sell them, they don't bring them over at all. And we have to wait like 25 years to get them. Or just order it as parts. Volkswagen's guilty of doing this. Like, they didn't bring over the Scirocco. Lotus is guilty of doing this. They didn't bring over the Exige. What other company is guilty of doing this? There's a lot of them. I'm trying to think of another company that's guilty of doing this. Oh wow, this car is just, it's not the fastest car in the world, but it's just such a fun car to drive. I mean, the only way you can get one right now is either A, maybe through Shore Display, or probably import it as parts, but I don't think I would want to do that. Considering how special this car actually is, I don't think I want to take apart a Lotus Exige and bring it over and then take it and rebuild it. Or B, just get it in a video game. But anyways, that was an amazing live stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys have had a wonderful morning. But anyways, that is the end of today's live stream. Wait, hold up.